With Donald Trump's tariffs on the horizon for Canada, the leader of the NDP, Jagmeet says, instead of getting rid of the Liberals, why don't we try communism? Ladies and gents, welcome back. It has not been tougher for Canadians than it is right now after 9 years of the Liberals in power, promising all kinds of great things for us by just spending money that we don't have on, well, anything that we're not getting. We didn't get anything really out of this. Canadians are really in rough shape, and it really doesn't show much more than I could show right here. Ryan Garrettson putting this out there. This is how desperate people are in Canada to find a family doctor. A physician in Brockton, Ontario, starting his new practice, said he would take 500 new patients on. Hundreds lined up in the freezing cold in hopes of signing up for him. What a disaster this is.
It's insane. This is just not what the medical healthcare system is supposed to be like in Ontario.
Got here about 5:30 and been on the Healthcare Connect list for about 10 years now.
This is the reality in Canada for all those Americans that are watching in going, hey, how bad really is it in Canada? Most people don't have a family doctor, yours truly included. We just don't have them. But CTV News puts it out there. It says, tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Here's some advice. Scroll down the page. Reduce your standard of living. You can't make this up, folks. This is just insane. It's really insane. But in spite of all of this, Jagmeet Singh, who had promised he was going to get rid of the Liberal government the next time they sit down in Parliament, is kind of reneging on that one. JJ McCullough pointing out on this article from CBC News, well, there it is. The NDP is back to negotiating with the Liberals. That's right. And here's the article here. Singh suggests NDP could help Liberals pass Trump tariff relief. NDP leader says he's still committed to bringing down the Liberal government. He's totally committed, absolutely committed to this. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh said Tuesday that he is open to working with the Liberal government to pass relief measures for workers if U.S. President Donald Trump moves ahead with devastating tariffs on Canadian goods. Well, what are those reliefs? We're going to get into that. Singh said for weeks, he and his MPs will vote to bring down the government and send Canadians to an election, which everybody really, really wants. I mean, it's really hard to deny at this point what that looks like in the polls. But, the NDP is not doing so hot right there. Have a look at that. But so he said he's going to, for weeks, he said he was going to vote to bring down the government and send Canadians to an election at the earliest opportunity when Parliament reconvenes after prorogation in March. Singh said that the commitment still stands, but he's open the door to propping up the Liberals so long as they pass relief legislation. What is this relief legislation? If the Liberal government needs a partner to get a bill through Parliament to help resecure a tariff-battered economy, Singh is willing to listen to what Ottawa is proposing, he said. Now, he was interviewed here, and here's what he said.
If Trump follows through on his plan with tariffs, would you keep the Liberals in power and allow for the passage of a work relief program before supporting a non-confidence motion?
I'll just start off by the fact that I've spoken with a lot of workers who are deeply worried about what the Trump tariffs might mean. They say, sometimes I lay awake at night saying, if that tariff goes through, do I lose my job? And what's going to happen to my kids? What's going to happen to my family? And when we think about the analysis that's out there, if those Trump tariffs come in place, there are hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs at risk. Think about what that means for those workers, hundreds of thousands of workers, for their families, for those communities. This could be devastating for our country. So
it could be devastating for the country, but we could just ensure that they don't happen by, I don't know, perhaps negotiating with Trump on his terms. Maybe let's fix the border and make that instead of promising, months and months out that we might throw some money at it, actually do some things. In fact, even if Trudeau resigns and we get a leader, say Chrystia Freeland, this is her plan. This is what she's put out there. Her plan to protect our economy from Trump is to immediately publish a detailed dollar for dollar retaliation list for consultation. Really? We're going to threaten the guy who's threatening us? Perhaps we should work with him. Immediately convene a summit and form an international coalition with Mexico, Denmark. So let's pit all these other countries against the United States. You think they're going to deal with that well? That is not going to get rid of tariffs. Come on. Putting tariffs on the United States is also not going to get rid of tariffs. But this I think this is what Jagmeet Singh is looking forward to. He's looking forward to a situation where the Liberals are going to walk us into a situation where we have tariffs. And well, he wants relief in that case. Well, what does relief look like?
We do need to have a plan in place to support those that are impacted, those businesses, those workers, most importantly. I have not had any conversations with other opposition leaders. I think we need to come together to have a discussion about what is the best way forward. I've not had any discussions with the government related to this. If there is any desire to move forward, the government should call us together like we did during COVID and discuss a plan that supports workers. We, as a party of working people, a party founded by workers, want to make sure that there's a plan in place for workers. It's why we said from the beginning, EI is clearly not up to the task. During the pandemic, we realized EI does not cover the majority of Canadian workers. We called for changes to happen to EI so that we would be better prepared if something happens again that disrupts our economy.
What is he talking about? He's talking about universal basic income. Let's not beat around the bush, Juggy. You're talking about universal basic income. We're talking about CERB on steroids. CERB was a massive failure, by the way, in Canada. CERB, for people who are unaware, CERB was a relief program that was set up for Canadians during the time of COVID. It was rampant with fraud. Lots of people collecting that were ineligible, including members of the Canada Revenue Agency, which a couple of people were let go over it. No actual fraud cases were brought to the RCMP over this. So corruption. We need more corruption, more government spending, and giving away free money and incentives for people not to work, for people not to show up for their jobs. This is a thing. But this is the plan: universal basic income.
The Liberals did not listen, and so we are now in this position where we have an insufficient EI, a threat of tariffs, and many workers lying awake at night saying, "Am I going to lose my job or not?" So,
am I going to lose my job or not? Perhaps we should go into a situation, perhaps with a different government. That would be great. Could we have could we have an election? Of course. And I'm going to get back to those poll numbers. Doesn't look like Jagmeet Singh wants an election because he wouldn't have much of a say in anything moving forward if that were the case. Now, Marty up north chimed in on this situation. And by the way, if you want to hear more from Marty, you can tune in tomorrow where the show is going to be published. But we do the show live actually Wednesday evening. So that would be tonight. Check that out at 6:30 Pacific. That's 9:30 Eastern time. Marty and I live. There'll be a question and answer period after we do our initial podcast, but tune into that. Here's Marty up north saying, I didn't apply for CERB relief, during the pandemic. I wouldn't make that mistake again. If Trudeau Singh offers any kind of program, I'll register myself, my wife, my dogs, my kid, my hamster, everyone. Trudeau and Singh are driving Albertans to be independent, and I'm going to milk Canada for every penny it's worth at this point. And this is a realistic situation in Canada where we could find ourselves. You might find the balkanization of Canada as a result of what the federal government is doing. Confederation is not really working out for a lot of the provinces, and they're looking at it, and they're looking at the negotiations between Trump and the federal government of Canada is not really beneficial to the average worker. No, we don't need communism. No, we don't need a free paycheck from the government. That's not going to help. It's more inflationary. It's going to destroy our currency as we know it. We won't have a currency as we know it if they go ahead and do something like that. But don't expect an economics lesson from the likes of Jagmeet Singh and how money and credit work. No, you get hopes and dreams from people like that, willing to throw away all of your children's and your children's money to pay for something in the here and now. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, and of course tune into the live stream tonight at 6:30 Pacific time. That's 9:30 Eastern, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.